It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Many of you may know that song, and the man behind it. Fred Rogers, known to most as Mr. Rogers from the television show Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, was a pioneer in children's television. His kindness and hope for the youth of the world allowed him to change societal perceptions and to shape a generation in kindness and in hope. Even now, after he has passed, his legacy continues to shape the beliefs of children. It's quite the amusing story when it's all broken down. In fact, Mr. Rogers hated television. He was once quoted with saying, "I went into television because I hated it so. I thought there was some way of using this fabulous instrument to nurture those who would watch and listen." He used the medium of television to do tremendous things. He took this thing that he so despised and turned it into a place where he could teach kindness and acceptance. This wonderful gentleman stood for acceptance in every setting and rejected social norms, including racist and sexist views. He used his television show to voice his trust of the opinions of women, something that was not widely expressed on television at that time. Even more sensational was the time Mr. Rogers destroyed racial barriers by sitting with his mailman and dipping both of their feet into the pool. This type of integration was unheard of at the time. And in sitting with his mailman, a man of color, and having a conversation with him, Mr. Rogers formed a pathway of kindness. This path opened a world of possibilities in civil rights and founded a basis of respect, something that greatly benefited all of the children that it reached, and even many of the adults. And even though he has since passed, his legacy still continues to create a voice of kindness in today's media. Before he died, Mr. Rogers created the Fred Rogers Production Company. The company is responsible for many shows currently presented to children. Odd Squad, Peg Plus Cat are a couple of examples of shows produced by the Fred Rogers Company. Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood has Daniel Tiger, a character from Mr. Rogers' original show. And the themes of the show are very much the same. Daniel Tiger goes through many scenarios that children may face daily, and he learns how to handle each and every situation with kindness and respect. Fred Rogers is and was one of the most kind and gentle people that has ever walked the earth. He speaks against inequalities in all forms and fights so that children may grow in kindness and respect for themselves and one another. So I ask again, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Okay. So my biggest critique of that performance would be the fact that I sped up in the middle section, and that is not really what my intent was. I think I just sort of let it get away from me. The speech in and of itself is pretty good. I want to add more descriptive language in there as I'm going. It isn't bad, but it could be smoothed out a little more, I guess I would say. I really liked the attention getter and the end. The ending with that song because it is so symbolic of Mr. Rogers and sort of the things that he did. I think all in all, this is pretty good. My younger brother was in here for about half of it, and then he went to go get ready for bed. But this is pretty good. There are, of course, a couple things I want to iron out, and I saw the notes on the my outline that you thought that I needed more substance to it, and you're very much correct. My outline just sort of ended up being more bullet points than it should have been, and I acknowledge that, and I have expanded on those quite a bit since then. But I think it's still something that it's very important to expand on those ideas a little bit more. Overall, though, I think that this was quite good, considering I am not the type of person that usually writes these types of things. I have only ever really been good at, academic writing. These are the facts. This is how they go. Things like that. That's more so what I've been good at. But I actually think this is quite good, considering, it's out of my comfort zone, I guess I would say.